Do you make your decisions based on the applause that they will get you? How are you deciding what is truly for you and for your highest good versus what you think others will like? If you're a people pleaser, this episode is for you because we are having a conversation with the amazing Megan Gillikin from the Planner's Vault and the host of the Weddings for Real podcast. Megan is a veteran wedding planner, and she's had some amazing business journeys, from buying a business before she was ready to becoming a speaker to cultivating an amazing community of entrepreneurs in the Planner's Vault. But all of that was based on a series of key decisions that she made and some that she wished that she had made a little bit differently. So today, let's dive into choices, how to make the best ones, and how to make sure that you are always reaching for your highest good. Let's go.
Welcome to the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Alea Harris. This is the place where you and your fellow empire-building entrepreneurs come to vanquish the burnout monster and boost your glow and cash flow with energy alignment techniques and tried and true marketing strategies. Since 7 figures won't get itself, hit that subscribe button and never miss out on your chance to skyrocket profits, tap into your intuition, and manifest your dreams. And now, your host, Powerhouse Story Brand Certified Guide, award-winning marketer, bioenergetic business coach, and Japanese whiskey lover, Alea Harris.
When I was in college, I discovered the book called The Purpose-Driven Life. And I read it and I reread it. And I'm not going to lie, I understood the book, but I struggled to discover what my purpose was. Why do I need to do the things that I do? When I was just a soul waiting to re-embody, what were the directions and the agreements that I made in this lifetime that I was intended to fulfill? And it took me years and years and years to even get a whiff of what that might be. One, because I wasn't really in touch with myself. I was in touch with other people's desires for me and of me. And that meant that I wasn't truly tapping into my own decision making and my own intuition. I was basing my decisions based on my experiences with my external world. And unfortunately, that's not where your purpose lives. Your purpose lives inside of you. Also, I was struggling to determine my purpose, or as Simon Sinek says, my why, because I was all over the place. I thought my why had to be a little bit of everything rather than honing in on my own secret sauce. Still to this day, I have my why, I have my purpose. I know that I am meant to build empires, my own and others. I'm meant to leave a legacy of abundance while I'm empowering and educating those around me and loving, loving, loving those people. However, that bright light of purpose does not always shine bright. It sometimes gets dim. There's sometimes a fog and there's sometimes a cloud because I lose touch of what is for my highest good and the highest good of all concerned. Finding your purpose and finding your why can seem like a struggle. And if you're in that place now where you're struggling, just know that you are not alone. You probably have read things where people have said, oh, it always starts with why, and find your purpose and find your secret sauce, and everything falls into place after that. That is true. It's absolutely true. But if you're still stuck on step one of finding that purpose and finding that secret sauce, well, then you could feel just stuck. Don't berate yourself. Don't judge yourself. Most likely, your goal right now is to go inwardly. If you've been looking externally for your why through action and through others, it could be that the why that you need is there and it's sitting there and it's waiting for you to find it and discover it. It is a great idea to make a list of all the things you enjoy, all the things you can't live without, all of the actions that you desire to take, all of the things that you would do without being paid for them. Those are all really great ideas. But after you make those lists, then sit and have a quiet moment with yourself. Focus on your breathing in and out. And get in touch with your heart center, your intuition, your third eye, your crown chakra, and open it up to the love and the light that is around you so that you can connect inside of yourself with your true purpose. Another great way that helped me spring forward when I was trying to determine my why was an Akashic record reading. My spiritual coach, Monica Lasque, does Akashic record readings, and she did one, well, she's done several for me. And first of all, I didn't know what to expect in this whole Akashic record reading experience. It was so mystical and kind of like out there and rando that I was like, is like a magical book gonna come from the sky and she's gonna like turn the pages? Did I just enter into Harry Potter? This could be the best day of my life. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but it still was one of the best days of my life because she was able to open up and unlock some of my purpose by reading my Akashic records. Not only does an Akashic record reading allow you to cut soul ties, to cut ties from past life experience, to get a fast track on clearing some of that karma, but often the beautiful keeper of the records, Akasha, gives you insight into being able to know your purpose on a deeper level. Because your purpose is much more than what you do. It goes and it taps more deeply into who you are and what is that magic that only you can bring, because everyone is here on this earth with an assignment. So actually several assignments, several agreements that you made before you came so that your soul can learn and grow. If you're an entrepreneur, part of that assignment is most likely building that business. And for the purpose of whatever that agreement is that you're trying to fulfill. Everyone's business fills a different agreement. If you're interested in getting your Akashic records read, I suggest that you go for it. It might be just that little bit of a push that you need to get clear on your purpose so that everything else can fall into place. As you're making that decision to get your Akashic records read or not, as you were Googling like what they are and how to move forward, I encourage you to keep one mantra in mind. I keep focus on the highest good. That's my mantra for you today. I keep my focus on the highest good. Say it with me. I keep my focus on the highest good. I keep my focus on the highest good. I keep my focus on the highest good. Regardless if you get your Akashic records read or not, keeping your focus on the highest good will most likely get you closer to your why. Asking yourself, is this for the highest good of all concerned today? Am I taking this action because I'm trying to appease someone or because it's for my highest good and for the best and highest good in every situation? By getting closer to that type of decision making, you will get closer to finding your purpose. Now, we're about to dive in to talk to Megan Gillikin, not only about purpose, not only about choices, but also how to be the type of entrepreneur that is constantly learning and growing, battling with the burnout monster and winning those battles, as well as getting in tune with yourself and understanding how the true power of you in most situations is what you really need to succeed. All right, let's dive into talking to Megan. Hey there, Megan. Thank you so much for joining us on the Flourishing Entrepreneur podcast today.
Alea, thank you so much for having me. I always love having conversations with you.
I know I've gotten like more Megan than I even like really deserve because I got to see you last week and now I get to talk to you today. This is amazing.
I know. It's been a good year. It's been a good year for our friendship.
It has been. So before we dive into all of the nitty-gritty juicy details, why don't you tell the people out there in the flourishing entrepreneur empire building world who you are, what you do, and what problems you solve?
Oh, I like this. Okay. So my name is Megan. I have been in the hospitality industry for about 15 years. I got my start working with Marriott Hotels, worked my way through a couple different positions. And 11 years ago, I went on a job interview where I thought I was going to be applying for a position with a company, came out with an option to take over an existing business from the original owner. The journey was full of ups and downs, twists and turns, all sorts of crazy stories that will one day go in my book. But the short version is that I have been a wedding planner now for 11 years. And now I really spend a lot of my time coaching and helping the next generation of wedding planners build their businesses with less stress, less anxiety, and more joy.
I love that. And you are just in general a joyful person. And guys, for those of you who have not seen Megan Gillikin speak in person, you're missing out. I think I got to see you. Must have been the very first time last week where people were crying tears of recognition and just feeling seen in the audience. I mean, it is amazing. Inspiration and spreading love and joy are truly part of your secret sauce. It's amazing
Oh,
to see it.
thank you so much. I think that topic was inner critic, and I know a lot of us struggle so much with that voice in our head. So it was a topic that resonates deeply with me. I'm sure we'll dive into that a little bit today, but one of my favorite speaking points for sure.
Absolutely. And when you deal with your inner critic, often you get swayed off course if you listen. You're like, "Oh, well, I'm not gonna," like, you could have very well said, "I'm not gonna buy this company. I'm not gonna move forward in this way. I'm not gonna do this." And then you would have been further off course from the truest version of yourself. And a lot of the times when people find themselves so far off course, they're exhausted because actually moving off course is a lot more effort and energy than staying in the path and staying in the flow, even if getting into that flow seems a little daunting. And you've had several experiences in your life where you had a choice point where you could have stepped off because it seemed easier, but it really was harder in the long run, or you stayed on, made that first hard decision so that you could get in that flow. And with that comes exhaustion, I guess, on both sides. And I would love for you to talk to our audience about what techniques or tools you've used in the flow, on track, off track, to avoid burnout and also stay in alignment personally and professionally.
Oh gosh, this question, I could talk about this question alone for our entire conversation. But yes, I have not avoided burnout. I have been through burnout 100%. It happened about 6 years into my journey as a wedding planner. And it was because of the way that I made decisions and who I made choices for. In my business, the clients that I was working with, just my whole business model was built on the premise of under promise and over deliver. And I don't really use that saying anymore because I think that that over deliver is what led to burnout and resentment in my business. I put myself back together in a different and better version of who I was years ago. And that is what I love talking about in conversations like this for other entrepreneurs, hoping that they hear something in what I tell of my story that resonates with them, whether where they are currently and they want to get out of, or just that journey of the unraveling of the habits that we pick up and hold on to that we have to unravel as we get further down the line in our career. So, having said that, with this question, the things that I do currently that protect me from ever going through burnout again, because I never, ever want to go there again, is I'm constantly assessing the choices that I make and whether they align with my why. And when you hear that why, that was very confusing for me. I read Simon Sinek's book, Start with Why, and I honestly read it and I didn't really get it. Like I still wasn't fully understanding of everything that came along with it. So I worked through that with I believe in having a coach. So I have a business coach, and she helped me really put together like what my why is here on this planet, in this, in the industry, as a business owner, as a mom, as a wife, as a daughter, as a sister, as all the different hats that I wear. And I filter that through. I imagine that like all of these opportunities come to me, and I have to decide which are the ones that should come through that I want to say yes to, and which are the ones that are not aligned for me. And that's not something that I did for many, many years as an entrepreneur. I felt like I was like just I was grasping at anything and trying to turn everything into something that was supposed to be something that I did for many different reasons. So aligning my why, protecting my time. So I do protect my calendar. And I know some of your other guests have mentioned that as well. For me, what that looks like is I protect my Mondays and my Fridays from coaching calls and general client calls. I find that it's great for me to start to look back at my week on a Friday and figure out what worked, the decisions that I made that I want to take with me into the next week, and what are the things that I want to fine tune and perhaps adjust as I go into the following week. And it helps me start to wind down because I am a mom of 3 girls too, and I have 2-ish businesses that I'm putting different hats on at all times. And
I'm
so I
sorry,
like
how do you have 2-ish businesses?
It's a great question, isn't it? So I was like, is it 2.5? I'm not sure. So I have my planning business that is its own separate entity. And then I have my education brand that is business to business. And then is a podcast. I mean, my podcast is not its own business, but it feels like its own sort of baby that has its own life to a degree.
It is
Um,
amazing. So you have 2 businesses and one really strong marketing channel. That Weddings
there we
for
go. I
Real
like that.
podcast is an
Yes.
amazing podcast. I have to think about that too because I'm like, well, I make money from from podcasting, and I have to do the same thing with speaking. I make money from speaking, but my whole thing is not to be only a speaker. It's just a marketing channel that I happen to also make money from the channel.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So 2 businesses and a very strong marketing channel. I like that. I
Yes.
like
I
that
was
very
like, what
much.
does ish mean?
Yeah, ish. It's the ish. That's very minimizing to my podcast. I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, because your podcast is freaking
My
awesome. It's more
podcast
than just
built
an
my
ish.
education brand, so it's kind of crazy. Anyway, so I do protect my days, and I try to organize like my personal and my professional tasks separately. I started doing this thing in 2021 where I carve out 30 minutes a day for what I call my adulting time. And that could sound inappropriate. It's not. But what it
Oh,
is.
no, you said adulting, not adult. Adult time and adulting time are very different.
Yeah, we're keeping this podcast like PG. Um, Anyway, this adulting time, because I I feel like I have so many different facets to life, and a lot of us do, right? Like we're business owners and we have lives outside of business, and there are so many like balls that we have in the air. I take all those things that pop into your brain all day long. So, oh, I got to move my doctor's appointment, or I have to fill out that form for insurance, or I need to renew my car registration, or I need to go get a birthday gift for my mom. And I pile that into a 30-minute block of time every single day that is like my adulting time. And it keeps me focused on my business work when I'm in business mode. And then I have that separate time for like decompressing with my family. Those are my ways, like protecting my calendar, filtering my every decision that I make through my why, and what I call, from working with a business coach, my purpose, like my life's purpose. All of my decisions get filtered through that.
I love that. Well, I did it very similarly. Then I got off track, then I burnt out, and then we regrouped. Like it was just like this cycle of coming back. And it really is when you regroup and focus on your why, then you get the chance to say no. And then you make better decisions. Because, and this is not meant to sound like all fancy dancy, but the more success that I've had, the more people want me to do things. And all of the things are good. They're never like, Alea, would you like to roll around in mud for 30 minutes? Like, no, like it's never like nasty stuff. It's like, ooh, that's shiny. Ooh, this is shiny and sparkly. But when my why is not in place, I go, yes, 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 yes to all of it. And I might do it all, but I might not be fully present. I might be exhausted. I'm not enjoying it, as opposed to saying no or not now, or how can we pivot, or can we do this in less time to certain things so I can say a hell yes to the things that really align with my why.
Yes. Yes. And I think that you have to, it's never something in life. You don't get to a place like you don't, Alea. I don't, no one listening to this gets to a place where you're like, well, I've made it. I always stay aligned with my why and I never fall out of alignment. It is a constant check-in with yourself to make sure that as you are taking steps forward, you're going in the direction that you don't want to. And we're absolutely like, we're going to go down that path that is not meant for us to go down. It's just how far do you let yourself go before you decide, "Ooh, I'm going to turn back around and go back where I'm truly supposed to be headed going." That's the part that there's no achievement or award for it getting easier to make the right decisions constantly and consistently forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, that's so true. And in order to do that, I love how you were talking about blocking in your scheduling what matters. One of the things that I was literally just on a coaching call with one of my clients this morning that I recommended to them because she's very regimented. She's one or the other, either regimented or she's like, or I'm just, it's all I'm letting go. She just lets go of all of it. I'm like, let's work on bringing that together. So I'm like, so you need to develop a plan that includes the regimented piece as well as some breathing room and some flow. And one of the things that she forgot to add in was a daily check-in for that awareness. Where am I today? Am I off course? Am I on course? Would I give my day-to-day a green stoplight color or a yellow or a red? Stop, girl, you're going too far. Turn around, move back. Beware. Like what is it that I would do? And the check-in duration kind of depends on you as a person. For me, daily check-ins are overwhelming because I'm constantly going to find something wrong. Just type A, Enneagram 3, whatever. So I do weekly because then I'm like, well, where are we at this week? Kind of how you do on your Fridays, right?
Yeah, Fridays. I like weekly as well. And then Mondays, the reason I protect my Mondays is it helps me like ease back in. It doesn't mean I'm not chilling on a Monday. I'm doing work, but it is like intentional work for my business because I am a classic entrepreneur in that I like will get really sucked into the business, like the day to day of my business, working in my business instead of on my business. So my Mondays and Fridays protect me from falling back into that trap. Um,
I love that.
yeah, I wanted to say something about you mentioned one of your coaching clients that she's either like super rigid or just all out. And that is so common in entrepreneurs too. It's that classic cycle of overworking avoidance, overworking avoidance, overworking avoidance. So if you're hearing this right now and you're like, oh, yeah, that's me too, you're not alone. You're not alone at all.
You're not alone. Even me on this call, I know this conversation is not about bioenergetic coaching, but I just did my own bioenergetic scan for yesterday. And I talk all about willpower, willpower, willpower. Willpower is a finite thing. Get stuff done in the morning. So, by the time you're done at the end of the day, you don't have to rely on willpower, blah, 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 blah. What's the thing that shows up number one that I'm struggling with? Willpower. What's the
Willpower.
conversation that I'm having with myself right now? Oh my God, I'm so tired. Oh my God, I'm so tired. How am I going to do this? Why have I done this to myself?
Yes, yes.
So it's even seasoned entrepreneurs, we still go through that same cycle. And it's kind of like a living meditation. People often judge themselves when they're in meditation. They're trying to empty their minds and they're like, it's not empty. The actual meditation is the act of bringing yourself back to that place of focus, that place of awareness. That is the meditation, the function of bringing back. The act of meditation in life is the function of bringing yourself back into alignment and renewing new neural pathways so that you actually go in the direction that you want to go. So if
Yes.
anybody sits here, if y'all listen to these gurus and are like, I figured it all out. just stop listening. No one has
Mm,
figured it all out. If they would,
no.
they would have ascended already and there'd be books written about them.
There we go. Yeah, we're all imperfect. We're all messy. We're all works in progress for sure.
Absolutely. But part of your genius, even in the mess, is that you are a business builder. You are an empire builder. You have two businesses, like we said, with one really strong marketing funnel podcast, right?
Yes.
So, talk about from some of the areas of expertise that you have, what are 3 pro tips that other empire builders can use to scale their businesses while enjoying their entrepreneurial journey?
Okay. Tip number 1 is recognize or determine your superpower that you and people call it different things: superpower, zone of genius, area of expertise, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same thing. Recognize your superpower and lean into that, and don't try to be everything to everyone. This also ties into one that comes up commonly, but this is where, like, I imagine that we're all holding cards. Like, I'm holding a deck of cards, you're holding a deck of cards. The person that's listening to this is holding a deck of cards, and they're all different and they all like combine for something special. But when you try to be everything, you're going to fall flat. So I'll give you an example. It took me a while, but I figured out that like my superpower is connection, relationships, seeing people and making people just feel like I get them. That's my superpower. My superpower is not in organization and spreadsheets and knowing where every last thing is, but there are people that is their superpower, right? Or there's so many other things. Like Alea, I think that part of your superpower is also like the relationships, the connection, the just your energy that you bring to conversations. People leave talking with you. I know I do. Every single time I have a conversation with you, I'm like, yeah, I could go do anything after a conversation with her. And I think that is and that's your superpower. But what I see a lot of
Oh,
entrepreneurs
well, thank
doing,
you.
it's so true. Yeah. I see a lot of entrepreneurs spreading themselves so thin that it is a watered down version of who they're supposed to be, because they're looking around at what others are doing and they're trying to be that person, or they're trying to add this particular service offering, or they're taking on tasks within their business that take them away from the thing that only they can do. So that is my number 1 tip.
I love that. Don't spread yourself so thinly that you become a watered down version of yourself. That's awesome because a lot of us don't think that. It's actually, we do it for the opposite reason. We spread ourselves thinly to try to help everyone else, to be ourselves to everyone, and to be more powerful, more engaged. And we actually are ending up doing the exact opposite.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. I never
Yeah.
really thought about it like that.
There you go. My second one would be leap before you think you're ready. And this is for those of you that tend to, you're going to know if you're listening to this and I describe this, you'll know this is you. But it's for those of you that tend to keep yourself small, that think that you're not ready for things, that limit your own growth because you have that inner critic, you have that imposter syndrome feeling. And I can say that with love because it's something that every single day I struggle with. Even just prepping for this interview, I was like, am I qualified to even have these conversations? Like, I get in my head, I do this and I will continue to do this as an entrepreneur, but I have to work to quiet that inner critic. And so my advice to you is that next step in your business, or that offering, or Alea, like the conversations that we had over like starting that podcast, going after that dream that you have. Leap before you're ready, because there are some of you out there that want to have everything perfectly aligned. You want to have a fully fleshed out 47-page business plan. You want to make sure that the timing is right and the financial, everything is right. And I can tell you, I bought a business. I took out a small business loan, refinanced my home 11 years ago, left a full-time job with a really solid paycheck, and I took that leap And I did it when it was really scary and I didn't feel ready. And I often think about my own moments in my career, had I put off things just because I didn't think I was ready, all the things I would have missed out on. And I think that there's so many moments like that for every person that's listening to this, that like you have to leap. You have to leap before you're ready and know that what's on the other side is meant to be.
I love that. And often I believe that when people don't leap before they're ready, it's insecurity, it's that inner critic, it's imposter syndrome, it's all of it. It also, because all of those things, insecurity, imposter syndrome, and inner critic, allows you to play the victim. You're also playing the villain. Arr. The villain is the one who is one making you feel like that because it's saying to you, you need to be in control and nothing else can happen unless you are the one that's in control of every single element. There's nothing that you will learn in the process. There's no extra or unexpected blessings coming your way. And you are the only one who knows exactly what you're doing. So you have to get it all together because nothing beautiful will happen unless you're in control of it. And that negates the process. There's no destination here. Like even me, hit first six figures. I'm like, well, what about doubling that? Did that? Well, let's go for triple. Did that? It's like, okay, when are we going here? And it takes a second to be like, there is no destination. It's about how are you learning in the process and how are you evolving? I put up, I mean, I could say this now because I don't do it anymore, but I put up products that had literally nothing behind them. Like it was a landing page and a buy now button. Cart opens in a month. Cart opens in a week. Right? And then I was like, is there buzz? Are people signing up for this wait list? Okay, cool. I'm gonna go create that now.
That's a great entrepreneur though. Like that is the like build it or like proof of concept. Like, will people sign up? Okay, then great. I will bring it to life. That's smart.
Yep. So I had to let go because I mean, when I say, oh, yeah, you want to be in control, all of this is autobiographical. So I'm not attacking anybody besides myself. I played that villain for myself as well, making myself feel smaller or making other people feel smaller in order to still at the end of the day prevent me from moving forward and stepping into the full greatness that is me, right? So if you are feeling like that, I love that you're saying to take a look at it and see really what is holding you back. What are the excuses? Who are you blaming things on? And just stop it.
Yeah, and just jump, just leap. There's such great stuff on the other side, and of course, there's failure and mistakes and disappointments, but that's the journey for every single one of us. So you're in really good company in that case.
Absolutely. Give me the
Yeah.
third tip, Megan. Give it to
Okay,
me.
the third one I talked about a little bit, but I want to bring it back. So, with this leap and with recognizing your superpower and leaning in, I'm going to go back to the idea of filtering your time and energy into knowing that like we all only have so many hours in a day. I always think of it like the battery life of your phone. Like you're going to use that energy in some way. So make sure that you're being intentional about what you're saying yes to, what you're saying no to, how you're spending your time, how much time you're finding yourself observing what other people are doing in life versus taking action on what you are doing.
Yes. It's like, how much time are you looking at the perfect picture someone else put on Instagram and feeling discouraged by, oh, I can't do that. Oh, they've done it. It's perfect. Versus being like, first of all, they're only showing me a tenth of what is true, like everybody else on Instagram. And what can I do instead of spending hours here? How can I build this for myself?
Yes, yes, 100% that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. Those are three really powerful tips, Megan. I appreciate that. And I want to go then now to a question that I will rely on you to think back a little bit because there is no magic bullet to success, and you've had quite a bit of success. But what has been the number one piece of advice that you know now that you would give your past self, the version of yourself who existed about a year after starting your business?
Yeah. So I, like you, am an Enneagram 3. I'm a 3 wing 2, which is the achiever. And what I would go back and tell that early version of Megan is stop making choices in life, both professionally and personally, based on what others will think, based on the applause of others. So, as an Enneagram 3, our like main, like, you probably, Alea, would do a better job of describing it, but like we achieve for love. We learn to achieve for recognition and love. And that can be a really toxic thing when you start making choices personally and professionally for the applause of others. And so I constantly, still 11 years later, it goes back, like everything kind of falls back into this like, why am I making this choice? Why am I starting a podcast? Why am I starting a membership? Why am I adding this service offering to my business? Why am I partnering with this person? Why am I like all of the things? And I'm saying these things in general for those of you that are listening, that I'm sure one of these resonates with you, but it's like, don't make decisions based on what others are going to think, because one, you're going to find yourself doing things that lead to burnout and resentment, like I did. And you're also going to look back on your life and think, gosh, I did things for appearance sake versus for heart's sake. And you can't go back and redo those things. I know that in a big, big way. So I would go back and tell 1 year Megan, don't make choices for the benefit or the applause of what others may be thinking.
That resonates with me so much. I also I mean, we're not exactly the same, but we're both Enneagram 3 wing 2s, and it's funny, like, if I get up on a stage even, and, like, I will look at every single person's face. Doesn't matter if there's 20 people in the room or 1,000 people in the room. I'm looking at everyone's face. Do they love me? Is basically, like, that's not the most immediate thought, but at the bottom of everything, it's like, do they love me? Did I do a good job that was worthy of them loving me? And I had to totally take it back. I'm like, "Wait a minute." First of all, not everybody's gonna love you like that. Not everybody even gonna like you.
Right.
So, what is a better way to make a decision that's not so codependent, that's not like you said, I loved, loved, loved how you said stop making decisions based on the applause of others. That really resonated with me, and go deeper. Make it from your heart center, like you said. Such great advice. Great.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's like we get this one life, right? Like we get this one opportunity. We don't get to go back and redo yesterday. And I'm just thinking that it makes so much sense to take that pause and be intentional about every single step that you're taking on that path. And that is boundaries, that is filtering decision making, and that is putting a priority on taking care of yourself.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay, so now we've got to the point in the interview where I'm going to ask the journal prompt question. The journal prompt question is designed for everybody at home to also answer for themselves in their own personal journal time. And you, Megan, are going to provide inspiration with your answer. Are you ready for your journal prompt question?
I think I'm ready. I'm pretty sure I'm ready.
Your journal prompt question is very simple and actually very complicated. What does success mean to you?
Whew. I believe that this definition has changed so much for me over the last decade, but currently, success to me is not what others see outwardly, but it's who I am inside and how I feel about myself and the way that that voice, because we all have that voice that is either cheering us on or tearing us down or just, you know, somewhere in between. But it is how I'm taking care of myself and talking to myself. And when I'm in a good place and I feel proud, not what my husband thinks, not what the audience thinks, not what my team thinks, not what my clients think, but when I feel proud of who I am, that is success.
I love that. I love that, and that actually speaks really well to me right now because I'm like, because I was going through this thing when I did my scan, willpower's down, and I was like, "Ah, crap, I've been working on this. I talk about this. I interview, have all of the tools." Oh, and then all the judgment comes in, da, 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 da. And I think that I really do feel the most successful when I have been able to manage my life so I'm supporting myself the best way possible, really heading to that balance that I'm looking for. So that is perfect. And I think it's interesting as people ask and answer this question of themselves, there's going to be so many different responses. But that one for me feels so grounded and balanced and peaceful. I love it. I love it.
Thank you. I feel like it's a matter of doing the work, right? Like you got to continue to do the work. Because if you had asked me 5 years ago about success, I would have been like, oh, meeting this financial goal. And that doesn't mean that that's not success, because there's definitely success in having safety and being able to do those things in life that are on that bucket list. But as an overachiever and a people pleaser and someone that always is looking outward, it feels good to view success more internally.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Megan, you've done some heartwarming here. You've done some inspiration here. You've done some empowerment, education. You've done it all. And if people that are listening would like to get some more of that magical Megan secret sauce, where can they find you online?
You're so kind, Alea. So they can connect with me through my podcast, which is Weddings for Real. It's a podcast for wedding pros, and we've got lots of episodes. I think we're on like 180 episodes at this point of content. You've been on there before. I need to have you back on again.
I would love it.
Yeah, so that's my podcast. And then if you are a wedding planner and it speaks to you, I have a membership called The Planner's Vault, where I help the next generation of planners grow their businesses with less stress, less anxiety, and, as I said earlier, more joy.
And I've spoken inside to the Planner's Vault members before, and there is a distinct difference between Megan's Planner's Vault membership and most other memberships. I've spoken in several memberships and to several membership groups. And you can tell the membership groups where the organizer is kind of just doing it to get recurring revenue and doesn't really care, versus Megan's membership, where not only can you tell that Megan cares, but the community is so strong and people are really changing their lives and their business. Megan, it's actually a little nerve-wracking for me because I think you might be a cult leader. I don't want to say anything, but
we all drink the Kool-Aid and we all support each other. It's great.
It is. I joke and I kid, but it is a true community. So if you're really looking, if you're a wedding planner, especially in your first 5 years of business, and you're truly looking for support, not just random tools and to be someone else's revenue generator, really check out the Planner's Vault because it stands as a head above most other memberships that I've encountered, especially in the wedding industry.
It is an amazing community. It really, truly is. There's something about that group. They are so supportive and so interactive, and I love them so very much. So thank you.
You're very welcome. And thank you, Megan, for joining us here on the Flourishing Entrepreneur podcast. It's been a joy.
So much fun. Thank you for having me, Alea.
This episode is brought to you by Strategy by Flourish Marketing. Most entrepreneurs are too close to their business to clearly communicate how they add value and stand out from the competition. Sometimes they even struggle to say what they do and offer. If you're confused, then your potential clients are confused, and confusion is a profit killer. That's why Flourish Marketing uses StoryBrand as the foundation for our products and services. The StoryBrand framework helps companies understand what their customers are looking for and how to position themselves to get those customers to pay attention. If you'd like help creating clear brand messaging for your marketing collateral, head to www.flourishmarketing.co/strategy and schedule a call today. You have only confusion to lose and money to gain. Visit www.flourishmarketing.co/strategy to get started.
Isn't Megan just a ball of compassion, joy, and love? I don't know if you guys can feel it over the airwaves, but talking to Megan always lifts me up in my soul and my heart. And I'm so glad that she was able to join us today. Not only did Megan drop some key wisdom about, how the phrase under promise and over deliver can actually get you in trouble, especially if you're a service oriented professional, but she talked about protecting her time and how she reviews her week and adjusts and pivots on a weekly basis. I love her 30 minutes of daily adulting time. That's great because it keeps her focused on all of the other things that she needs to accomplish. And my favorite line of this is stop making decisions based on the applause of others. I'm taking that. I'm journaling about that. I'm rolling that around because that's something that I definitely need to take home. I hope that you gained a lot of lessons from Megan. I know I did. And if you're ready for more, be sure to join us here on the Flourishing Entrepreneur podcast every single Wednesday as we spread some more empire building tips for you out there, you busy but magnificent entrepreneur. All right, until next time, I am Alea Harris. This is the Flourishing Entrepreneur podcast, and I'm sending you lots of love, light, and abundance. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Alea Harris. Dive into the show notes at www.flourishmarketing.co/podcast and connect with Alea at Flourishing Entrepreneur on Instagram. Vibing with what you hear? Leave a 5-star review to spread the love and be sure to click subscribe. From the entire Flourish Marketing team, we wish you love, light, and abundance. See you next time.